And my first client, I think, was my friend Kelly Maddox from California. I just called her up and said, let me look at everything you're doing. And from for everything, your pricing, your marketing, your finances, your mortgage, your investments, your expenses, and anything that you can give me, give it to me. And let me just look at it and pay me afterwards if I add value with some sort of advice. I drank some Red Bulls and I just thought about everything that she was doing. And, we sat down and identified about 25,000 in annual savings that we could do by renegotiating, just by renegotiating some expenses. We also raised her prices a little bit, and the net was well over 20,000 in savings for that little engagement. And that's when I really fell in love with helping horse people with their businesses. And I really haven't done anything else since 2018 except do that very thing. Like, let me look at what you're doing and let's make different decisions with a different mindset. And I've had the honor of working with a lot of businesses. We try our best every time. And let me, we had a ton of success. And I can go over some case studies of people that got that 10,000 or more in profit, have a life, go on vacations. They make, they have enough resources to do things that they didn't before. And let me kind of summarize the mistakes that most of the horse industry is making and give you kind of a strategy to turn a physical horseback riding school into a profitable business that you can step away from and make 10,000 a month in profit at least, and have a team and a technology that keeps things going, even when you're not there. So let's kind of talk about mistake number one is, if you visit a lot of the barns in this country, if you just walk in and visit a lot of these barns in this country and you ask if you can come learn to ride, just show up at a random barn, like, hey, I'd love to learn how to ride. The business owner is going to say, well, are you willing to buy a horse, preferably a nice horse, and board it here and go to shows and take lessons? And, imagine that you love horses and you're like, okay, well, I'm open. What are you talking? They're like, well, 50,000, for a horse, and maybe 2 to 3,000 a month in, easy and board, lessons, expenses, equipment, shoes. And you're gonna be like, what? Like, yes, maybe, like, down the road. Like, is there something we can start off with that's not that? Like, a lot of the barns will say, no, you're not willing to do that. Okay, get lost. That's what a lot of barns will say. And I understand where they're coming from, but what they don't really realize, the opportunity, is that they're alienating like 99.9% of people, because most people want to get involved with horses, but they need that first stepping stone. So I'm like, get just one lesson horse. And now we're marketing to everyone. Like, you can sell everyone a riding lesson, and get them hooked, right? It's like a drug. So get that one lesson horse and let's grow the sport and bring people in. And, you know, everybody's got some sort of toxic drama in the horse world. Let's get some new people in here. Let's get some fresh blood. It's like a stagnant creek with the same old people that you keep bumping into and squabbling with. So let's get some new people in, and everyone wants to get involved with horses. So that's mistake number one, is this, resistance towards getting a lesson horse and working with a beginner. For when I get it, for a ton of reasons. I'm don't want to work with a beginner. That's not my avatar. I'm a fancy person, right? And lesson horses are expensive. I'm not going to pay the bills on one. I get it. But, let's say we take my advice, we get just one lesson horse. And then they say, the second mistake, they do this, they've tried this. They're like, Brian, I've tried this. And I was charging $40 a lesson with no commitment, right? And so people would walk in and, I got like 5 people who maybe paid $40. A lot of times they didn't. A lot of times they were on vacation, or they just kind of lost interest. So it didn't generate enough revenue to justify a lesson horse. And so, that's mistake number 2. The solution is, you got to charge at least, the bare minimum, I think, is like $300 a month for one lesson a week. You might have to include some perks like group unmounted horsemanship classes they can go to, but it's got to be $300 a month at least for that membership. The lessons can be 30 minutes. So that means that, a lesson horse that works 5 to 10 hours a week, generates a minimum of 3,000 to 6,000 a month, right? Now, that's more than what most people are getting for board. So if they have an open stall and they put a lesson horse in there and they do it correctly, they generate three to 6,000 a month for that stall. That a lot of people are not getting anywhere close to that with the boarder, right? That they were not finding either. So that's mistake number two, is not charging correctly for the lesson horse. Mistake number three is they don't know how to advertise or how to sell. Like, we found out people have look, I can go over like the 20 problems that we fix, but I'll kind of, it's a lot, right? So most horse businesses, they have no idea how to advertise or sell. And so when you know how to advertise and sell, you should be predictably enrolling 5 clients a month, at least. When you really know how to advertise and sell. And as a business owner, like, you've got to just accept that you need to learn how to advertise and sell if you want to be a business owner. It's a prerequisite. And so a lot of people say, well, I just like to wait until somebody finds me, and that's just unpredictable. And you want to take control, create a marketing campaign, learn some salesmanship, and be enrolling at least 5 clients a month. If you're only charging $300 a month, that means that your monthly revenue, it's increasing $1,500 a month until you hit a constraint, which is a pretty good pace of growth, right? Because, after a year, you're at, something like 13,000 in added monthly recurring revenue from where you were, and so that's good growth. You're going to hit constraints. Like, you might need another lesson horse, you might need another instructor, or eventually you might need another arena. But you can grow until you hit that constraint. And as a business owner, you got to know what's your constraint, and then you need to solve that constraint. Mistake number 4 is they don't really know how to run a funnel. They have the wrong expectations for a funnel. What I mean by a funnel is, like, the goal of this funnel is I think to fill the barn with some horse owners, some really quality horse owners, but they don't really have the right expectations or know how to run it, right? So about 10% of the kids that come in to take lessons are going to buy a horse, maybe less, and that's okay, right? We can still run a profitable business off the lesson horses, but some should, a good funnel and a good barn, that you should be gently nudging people into 2 lessons a week, into leasing, into horse ownership. So they don't know how to properly nudge and how to properly structure the client journey, the right price points at each point, the perks to offer for people to bump and to upgrade. And they have the wrong expectations. I hear all the time that people are like, well, if you're not willing to, I'll take you, on a lesson horse, but only if you're going to end up being serious. And it's like, well, we don't know who's going to be serious. And we actually know that it's only a percentage go through. So having the right expectations and nudging people along this journey, we kind of want to end up with maybe half of our revenue from the lesson horses and half our revenue from the horse owners. And then it's starting to feel like a healthy mix. And then mix horse sales into there as well. You kind of need to have all 3 cohesively working together. Mistake number 5 is most people have absolutely no process, no documented process, no curriculum, no lesson plans. They wander into the arena and they wing it. And this is like a restaurant, never writing down their recipe and just, right? What does that mean? Well, that means that the restaurant owner is going to have to cook every single meal for every single client, or what ends up happening is they do hire an assistant chef. The assistant chef has no recipe. And so the clients all say this food's terrible. And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where the horse business owner is like, only I can teach. No one likes anybody else besides me, which is kind of what our ego wants too. We like to be the hero. And it's this self-fulfilling prophecy. You see horseback riding instructors, they have no process, no curriculum, no training program. It's not good for the clients. And they just wing it. It's all in their head. And so you got to have a curriculum. You got to have a lesson plan that you can give to other people. You've got to document what you're doing, capture that. Mistake number 6 is no technology, no software, no auto pay, no scheduling, no client data management and communication system. It's all run off their phone and Post-it notes. I do like whiteboards. You got to have a whiteboard, but in addition to that, right? Like, you got to have some tech. It's not the first mistake that I fix, but it's definitely mistake number 6 is you've got to learn some technology. Mistake number 7 is no hiring skills, no team building skills, right? Complete wrong mindset around it all. And this toxic, whiny cry of kids these days don't want to work, and it takes more time to train somebody than to do it myself. And, you know, it's not worth it, and they want too much money. And so obviously, like, if you don't get your pricing and your marketing working, then you don't have enough clients to really hire anybody. But if you've got enough revenue, like, you can start to create attractive positions for people. And so that's the prerequisite. Once you have the revenue, like, you do need to know how to recruit, how to train, how to create a culture, how to be positive, how to put yourself in their shoes. Like, why would somebody want to work with you? When do you let people go? When do you promote them? You know, how do you train them? How do you manage them? And that's really the skill that allows you to step away, is to build a team. And that's, you know, that's something I think about all the time. And it's something that I've made mistakes in, and like we all have. And but getting it right, that commitment to getting it right and to getting better and learning from everything that you're doing, and making better and better and better decisions, and getting better and better people, and really raising that standard of who you want in your company, and making them better, and turning sixes into nines, training people, getting the right values, and people on for the right reasons. You do all that, and things turn around. Believe me. You know, we work with people, and those are kind of the seven mistakes that we're trying to fix with skills with people, as quickly as possible. And, you know, when you fix all of that, right, then you're one of my clients that you've got 10,000 a month in profit, and you take vacations or more. And it's like the winner has no story. The winner has no story. Like, my client that wins, they're just like, yeah, no, I've got the profit, and business is actually pretty solid. And I see their vacation pictures and I love it. I love it. I see their vacation pictures and I love it. And it's just kind of, there's no story. It's the loser that has this long story. And I really want to help you win. I really want to help you change your mindset about this industry. It's why I've existed since 2018. And I hope you got some value out of this.